spent $12,000 on AI Claude Code credits, and here's the 3 lessons I've learned that can help you to spend your credits more effectively. Let's get started. For the most part, these 3 lessons have remained true, and I think would help you accelerate understanding AI really quickly. And a lot of people think AI breaks, and when they try to use it, they say it gets stupider, or it doesn't understand things, or it goes crazy. But the truth is, most people who use AI use it incorrectly, and it's because they don't understand the most important thing with AI. That is context. And that's the first lesson we'll learn. So the first thing is that context is king. So when OpenAI, Gemini, or Claude give you an AI agent, they give it a limited context window. And that's defined by tokens. So they'll be like, you have 200,000 tokens for Claude Code, Gemini has 1 million tokens. But the thing that they've found across everything is that really you're better off with the minimal tokens needed to get the job done. So even if you have a giant context window, you really want to use less and less. So no matter what, context is always king. The best way that I've found to explain context is when you think about you taking a test. Imagine if there's 20 questions left on the test, but you have 2 hours to answer them. You might spend time doing research, you might spend time writing all the numbers down and showing your work, and then quality controlling, like double checking and building diagrams to help make sure that you get it right. Like you would do a really good job on those 20 questions. And that's like AI when it only has like 10% or 30% context. It seems amazing. This is the AI that everybody's so impressed with. But the AI that people get frustrated with is when it's at full context, when it's at 80, 85, 90%. And the thing with that is that's very similar to like you. If you were on a test and you had 2 minutes left and there's 100 questions to answer, like you're not gonna do your best work. You're probably just gonna guess at the answers. You might hallucinate things. You might even try to pretend to the teacher that you knew what was going on when you really didn't. And that's all the stuff that AI does when it's out of its context. So that's the thing you have to worry about. And let me show you the first thing that's really cool with this. And I'm gonna show you this in Claude Code, but other tools have other options. If you can find a way to check to see how full your context is, you then have a really good sense of where you are. All right, so here's an example Claude Code session where I just uploaded this presentation that I'm using for this YouTube video, and I asked it to make a couple changes and make a few notes. But now I'm gonna show you what happens if I do this /context. And this is for Claude Code, but for OpenAI, for Codex, for other tools, you can find other options that are very similar. And when you click this, when you send this in, it will then give you an analysis. And it's really cool. It'll show you right here. Here's your context usage. So it's telling me that of the 200,000 tokens you have, you're using 58%, but makes sense. And then it'll even break it down and say you have your system prompt, which takes up a little bit. You have your system tools, you have your memory files, you have some skills, right? Maybe if you upload a lot of skills, it can overload it, but skills are normally pretty context efficient. So it's normally something that a lot of people recommend is to add skills so that you have really context efficient knowledge for your agent. But then the big thing that everybody does is they have messages, right? So when you message back and forth with the AI, you're slowly filling up that context bucket. And then when you're at 10%, 30% context, the AI is superhuman, it's amazing. But once you get to 50%, it starts to degrade. And once you're at 70 or 80%, it's just downhill. And that's really the thing you want to optimize for, is you want to constantly be checking your context to avoid that you're having your AI make important decisions that a lot of times are hard to reverse when it's at that overloaded context state. So definitely stay on top of that and use this context command or figure out the equivalent of whatever tool you use so that you're constantly context aware. You're always making sure that you're not overloading the context. And by the way, before we go any further, just think about this is what AI development is figuring out how to make your AI agent have the right context. Because you can even see in this example here, it's saying that 13% of your context is used with system prompts, with memory, with skills, maybe even before you even typed a single word. So you really have to make sure that that context you're providing it is the exact context it needs to get the job done. And I would break context down into 3 categories. So you're in the green zone if context is less than 50%. You don't have to worry about it. Just know, okay, I'm under 50%. I don't have to think about context too much. Once you get to the yellow zone, once you get to where you're at 50 to 70%, you need to start being careful, be surgical. Only use certain files that you know are not so huge. You don't want to upload a giant documentation file and say, hey, please read this, and then execute it. You'd rather start a new chat at that point. But then once you're above 70%, you're definitely in the red zone and you're probably at risk using AI. It's probably going to make bad decisions. So you're better off just getting out of the red zone, starting a new chat, taking all the learnings you've made, documenting it, and then uploading that so that the learnings can be 5% of the context for the next AI chat. And it can start at 18% and then work its way up. And then you're constantly doing that. And that's what AI development looks like, is basically just managing the context in that way. The most important thing to remember with context is king is that 30% context will always outperform 80% context, and it's not even close. So this is the game. How can you have as much of your development done at the 30% context window and as little or none done at the 80% context window? All right, so now that we know that context is king, let's go into a few commands that you can use, because these tools are released with ways to manage the context. And the professional developers are constantly using them. So I'm gonna walk through the most common examples and show you how you can use them. So the first one we talked about, which is just using that context to just see where you are. So just knowing, am I at 10% context? Am I at 30? Am I at 50? Am I at 70? Just knowing that is step one. And you should always be aware for every chat you're doing, how close you are to that limit. And maybe check every 4 or 5 messages just to make sure that you're not blowing up the context window. Let me also say this. There's a lot of people that think AI is amazing, right? AI is super smart. So what I should do is I should just upload all my data. I should give it every single piece of context about my business. But you really don't want to do that, because then you're overloading the context. And you really want specific agents to have specific context. Like I have some database developer agents, and they're really good at understanding factually what's the most important data in my database, how does it connect to the other APIs that I work with, and it needs to be very fact-based. I don't want this AI agent to have any persuasion skills or to know any creative writing or anything like that, because then it might even persuade me to do something wrong. I just want it to be factual and just give me the details. So that's a good example of where with context you really want to make sure that you're using micro-specific agents instead of imagining AI like it's this all-powerful supercomputer that you should just upload all your data to. That kind of AI does not exist yet. We don't have a super god-tier AI that can understand everything. We just have a bunch of micro, small, super AIs that are really efficient at certain tasks. And then right now it's your job to combine all those together. So you can do clear. And what clear does is you just clear the context. It's basically like starting with a new chat. People do this because they just don't want to have to constantly like close and reopen. To be honest though, this is not used that often. Most of the time people will just start a new terminal window or start a new browser tab and just start a new chat from scratch. But you can do this clear and it will wipe the conversation entirely. What's used a lot more is, let's say you're working on a long task and you're maybe halfway there, but your context window is at 70%. And maybe even your AI agent needed to learn a lot of things to figure out the most important stuff it needed to know. That's a good example of when you can use the compact command. So let me show you an example of that using the same chat. So with this one, we were saying that we were at 58% usage, right? And some of this was system prompts, system tools, memory files, skills, and also the messages that I was sending back and forth with it. Please don't focus on prior versions. So now what we can do is we can use the compact command, and you can also say beside it, what is it that you want to make sure to include? So the AI can look at all of its context and figure out what it is that it needs to know. So in this case, what I'm going to say is, because this is like a presentation creator chat, I'm going to say like, don't focus on the prior versions, because right now maybe it has all the history of all the changes and the first version and the second version and everything else loaded to its context window. I'm going to say, okay, we made the changes. Now just only keep the like latest version in your context window. So I'm going to go ahead and just say that with the command, and then let's see. So we started out with 58% context. So I'm going to run this compact. And let's give it a couple seconds. And so it will now run, and it's compacting the conversation. It's going to be taking its context window, throwing some stuff out, and then compressing it to just what it needs. And then you can continue the conversation to build up from there. So as you're doing long chats, at least if you're going to be doing long chats, you definitely want to be compacting. There are maybe even better things to do beyond compacting. We'll talk about in phase 3. But this is definitely like level 2, which you should do beyond just continuing a really long AI chat. All right, so we let that run for 2 minutes. And what it came back and did is it said, it showed my compact command and it cleared all the previous history, but it had it immediately read the previous sessions and also like the finalized file. So it still has a lot of good context. It still knows the latest state of the file. It still knows some of the changes, some of the thought processes that I had. But overall, what it was able to do is it went from 58% of context to now 21%. So that's an amazing improvement. And now if I continue to ask it questions, it's going to be doing amazing work versus the one at 58%, which was getting really close to that. It was in the yellow zone and getting really close to the red zone. So this is definitely something you want to keep in mind and constantly run the compact commands to try to keep things moving. But I would say this is not the best system. You can go another layer further. And this is what the pro developers are doing. And let me show you what that looks like. So the third lesson is to use multi-agent teams. So stop using Claude Code and other tools like it, like it's a chatbot, and instead treat it like it's a team and have multiple agents that specialize on different tasks and have them optimized for exactly what they need to do and spend 80% of your time planning. So let me show you an example of that. This has been my workflow that I've optimized over the last 3 months of working with the newest version of Claude Code with Opus. And I think it's really, really powerful. Let me show you what that looks like. So instead of just having one session that does everything, that has to plan and code and then actually execute and then update the documentation, which is how most people still use AI, even though it's obviously not the best practice and even though it's obviously terrible for your context. Doing this specialized agent system is way better, and it's not as hard to set up as you might think. So let me show you mine. What I have, and I call this the constellation architecture because like constellations, like stars in the sky. So anyway, that's like what I went with. Like the AI agents are all stars, like talking to each other. And the first one is basically having like a project manager agent. And by the way, if this seems similar to like how big tech companies like run their tech departments with like lots of people, it is pretty similar. I kind of took my inspiration from it and from Scrum and from other systems like that. But there's no reason not to like move those systems that did work in big organizations with like these huge annoying bureaucracies and just move all that bureaucracy to Claude Code and let it run it all. So that's what we're doing. We're kind of building a mini bureaucracy, but there's no humans like trapped in that terrible bureaucracy. It's just AI agents, and they don't seem to mind too much. So you have the PM agent, and all it does is it just like reads the work that these other agents are doing and then like sends it back and forth, gives it feedback. Sometimes it goes to me, the human, and it asks me questions or sends details back to me. And then what I do, and this is also really good for cost, I use Opus, the really expensive, amazing model, and I'll have it go into plan mode with Claude Code. You could do something similar with Codex or other tools, but what I have it do is I have it build an amazing plan for the whole project. And and I tell it to break it down into specific tasks that individual agents can do. So it'll sit there and it'll build out my app, or it'll build out the workflow or the automation or the blog posts, and it'll basically build out, here's the entire plan, all the research that's needed, all the details we need to figure out, the visualizations that need to be created, and so on and so forth. And it'll build the documentation, and it'll build the basically like execution implementation plan. So normally you want to have the plan agent build maybe 2 or 3 documentations, like architecture document, PRD, anything else that just describes the project, and then a secondary document that's like a full implementation plan that's almost like a project manager base that shows, here, do these tasks first, then these tasks, then these tasks. From there, I don't have that planner agent try to develop really detailed plans for each task because it's just too much, and it really needs the context for like the whole project. And then what I do is I instead go to what I call my scoper. And what they do is they actually will take a task and they'll do like a plan mode or a mini plan mode on that task and say, okay, what should the prompt be for this task? And it'll review all of the project documents, it'll review what's needed, it maybe does some research on the different like tools that we're using or the different architectures, and it'll then build, okay, here's like the exact prompt that should be used with guardrails, with acceptance criteria, and everything else like that. And then finally at that point, we're already 3 agents deep, then we start executing. And that's when we have an AI agent that just takes this task that was scoped and with the prompts made by the scoper, which is made by the planner, which was organized by the PM agent by talking with me. So we're 3 agents deep, and then the executor can do the individual task. And the cool thing is these executor agents are now super focused. They have just this tiny little context window at the beginning, maybe like 13% used, but it's exactly the context that they need. And then they can work all the way up to like 60, 70% context, get a lot done at a really high quality. And then they just report back what they did. They update the project planning document. And then from there, I do also have like a learner that just like will review the chat logs for the executors and just see if there's anything that needs to be updated in like the big documents or for future learnings. And to me, like, yeah, this is a little bit of a bureaucracy, but I mean, this gives you the power of like an amazing organization. This is like coding like Google would or Amazon would or somebody else, because they hire people with like these types of roles. And I think it's just amazing that that you can just bring this in and have it for your Claude Code. And I've seen it way faster. Like you may look at this and be like, oh, this is more complicated. But if it's planned well and you get it right the first time, and also you can tell the planner like plan for 5 agents to be working at once. And figure out which ones can go in which order, and then when the next ones can go, and so on and so forth. And then you can have the PM agent that can review the plan and like go back and forth and help you spin up those new agents when needed. I mean, you can get stuff done that would have taken like 20 hours of Claude Code time if you did it sequentially one after the other. But by doing it in these batches, you can very quickly in like 2 or 3 hours build out a full project. And the most important thing is it's a well-scoped, well-planned project, so it's actually going to build what you want. So that's the most important thing. That this is what I'm seeing people who really understand the context window, who really understand AI, and are really using these tools to their best ability. This is what they're doing. They're doing stuff like this, and I'm happy to share with you a prompt that can basically take a project you want to build and basically help you build it in this architecture. We have it in our school community. So anybody that signs up, we have a prompt that will basically walk you through, and actually it will take whatever your idea is and build you a prompt for your PM agent, for your planner agent, for your scoper agent, and then even for like some starter executor agents. And so that way you don't have to like think about this too much. You can just take the prompt and then just like have your amazing constellation that took me 3 months to build, but you can have it immediately with like multi-agents and being able to develop, faster and better than like a full dev team in like 2 hours. So yeah, so feel free, sign up for the school community, and happy to give that to you. And we'll go much deeper in more and more of this type of stuff as well. We're just now starting the school community, so anybody that joins now gets in at a lower rate. So if you like this advanced workflow, we're gonna be covering a lot more of this stuff. We're just getting started with AI Impact, so subscribe now, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Twitter. We're gonna be bringing the pro AI tools and workflows to business users and people that are just learning AI so that you can get up to speed quickly and have AI superpowers in hours or days. Please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in the next one.